In my first year as bishop, I've wanted to see as much of the diocese as possible. So I've enjoyed, among other things, visiting a lot of our schools and parishes across the state. And in my conversations with the students, I've seen their integrity, their commitment to learning. I see how they're looking for meaning and purpose, and I find myself ever more committed to help them in their journey of learning and in their journey of faith. I was really pleased to learn when I came to Providence that our diocese was among the first to establish an Office of Child Protection. And our parishes and schools, they have key practices to create and sustain a safe environment. We control access to the young by background checks for all employees and clergy and volunteers. There's a training program for everybody, parents, volunteers, teachers, and any adult who works with children in any setting in the parish or school. This educational program, it teaches the supervision of programs and facilities. It informs participants of the realities and the terrible effects of childhood sexual abuse. It teaches responsible adults to recognize grooming behaviors and to report their concerns to law enforcement and to the program or school leadership. The children in the programs also receive age-appropriate training through the Circle of Grace program.
The first thing that we do in Circle of Grace, and that I enjoy doing, we have every child stand up and we have them create a circle all around them. Everything within that circle, it's sacred space. It's space that is meant to be respected. Like everyone that you encounter is to respect that space.
They learn to understand warning signs. They learn to understand things like what kind of behaviors are appropriate, learning how to socialize with other kids your own age. And then it goes into relationships with peers. And even as they get into the teenage years, what are healthy relationships for dating and what are unhealthy relationships for dating.
And then it also teaches them very specific language about what to do if somebody is in their circle of grace and making them feel uncomfortable. Who are the trusted adults that they can go to and the steps that they can take to address that.
And I think overall the diocese does a great job of providing the parishes with the tools that we need, giving us the guidance and making sure that everybody starts off with certain safety standards and then helps us to continue keeping people safe as they come into the programs over time.
I think what I appreciate most is that it seems to be a layered approach. So we're not relying just on one particular method to ensure that our children are safe, right? You have your background checks that are coordinated through the diocese. You have your Circle of Grace training. You have your safe environment training. And I think that multi-layered approach is what's going to ultimately be most effective in ensuring that our children are safe.
I think if you're a parent who is considering sending your child to a Catholic school, or maybe allowing your child to become an altar server or participate in youth group, and you may have some apprehension, which is understandable. Anytime a child that you love is going into a new situation, you want to make sure that they're going to be safe and well cared for. But what I can say is that safety is an enormous priority in every one of our parishes, in every one of our schools. It is taken extraordinarily seriously.
In addition to these prevention efforts, the Diocese of Providence has a long-standing practice of communicating any and all allegations to law enforcement authorities. We also have a diocesan review board in the Diocese of Providence in accord with the Dallas Charter of 2002. This board is composed of really good people of particular expertise in education, law enforcement, or in the care of those who have suffered childhood sexual abuse. This body guided my predecessor in composing and publicly sharing a list of clergy who had been credibly accused of abuse. And when investigating historical allegations, sometimes going back several decades, I rely on the advice and expertise of this significant advisory body. I am really grateful for these practices, and I pledge to continue them even as we seek always to improve our vigilance. As we consider our commitment to prevention, there is also the tragic truth that childhood sexual abuse causes deep and lasting harm. The trauma for the young person is even more heinous when the perpetrator threatens or deceives the victim into feeling complicit in the evil that has been done to them. even as we repent of and grieve for the sins of the past. We have an obligation to compassion and understanding now, in the present. The victims may have difficulty trusting us given their own experience of betrayal, but it's essential that we in the church offer access to counseling services and the opportunity for spiritual care and renewal. These suffering men and women, they are our brothers and sisters, and we need to communicate to them our reverence for them and our sorrow for their suffering. Our children and young people are among the most vulnerable and our most precious gift. And the church takes her legal and moral obligations to protect them seriously. We have made strides to ensure the safety and well-being of every one of the children entrusted to our care. As always, much remains to be done. May God bless us, inspire us in these ongoing efforts in this sacred duty.